What's up? It's Moss 808, brought to you by the Esoteric Soji. Your neighborhood wise Baba Sage, you know what I'm saying, breaking down these astrological alignments, aligning ourselves beside the principles, powers, and virtues of the as above, so below concept, outside of the spectrum of the shadow government and what society, not the collective, society as a whole within the fourth dimensional 4D mentality realm is seeing and participating in these energies. And I had to lay that groundwork and that ground foundation terminology because the moon is at work here in Capricorn. Our emotions are busy, are preoccupied. We are detached from these waves of what is current, of what is valuable as far as fluidity, putting in and receiving, retrieving, because we are laying the groundwork. We are planting something that is going to be immovable to the maturity of our development. Even if you cut the tree down, the root and the base is still solid as ever. You can tell more of the DNA of the information by going within the 3D dimensional avatar is the coding of the universal energy. But anyways, yeah, we have the moon, you know what I'm saying, conjuncting Mercury, stationing retrograde right before Pluto and Capricorn. So our emotions are at work, they are preoccupied, and right now we are looking at what we have grounded, and we are planting the seeds essentially, as well as this the marker. This is as far as we have gotten previously. Now when we return to this point, are we either going to be ahead of the learning curve as far as progress, as far as thinking forward and accumulating and potentially entrapping our environment within our projection of our analyzation and the internal communication within ourselves, certain conflicts, because when we're inverting lights, especially with a microscopic lens like say Virgo, then you know it's a super magnified. Things appear bigger than they actually are. The picture, Sun in Sagittarius, and our passions and motivations seem bigger than they actually are. Therefore, you are sifting through these details to figure out, you know, the particulars, what you need to figure out. And this can come across as an embarrassment moment as you look back on certain mistakes, or as you are carefully selective of the things that you are falling back up on as far as communicating or thinking. It's very rapid pace. So when you see things that you're detaching from on a mental level, it's difficult to process because your emotions are at work with being grounded. Another video spin-off of that point I'm going to be making is that when you are grounding your responsibilities and anchoring yourself and doing what you are supposed to do, you're going up. You're freeing your spirit from forcing an unconscious metaphysical world upon a world full of light and death, you know, transitioning of material matter into celestial abilities and powers, right? So there's that class of energy while you're bringing life as an avatar. You know what I'm saying? The fire isn't what is hurting the material, burning up the physical. The fire is the life, the essence, the spontaneity of the image, of the picture, of the vision, and encapsulating not the minds and hearts, not encapsulating these things. Well, not encapsulating on the spectrum of enchanting and casting a net of delusion via your creativity, Neptune squaring Sagittarius, you know what I'm saying? Learning that, moving your perspectives, and you move your positioning, and you see different angles of the goal, not you turning the goal inwardly and cycling it to get that right degree, get that right pinpoint, Lilith and Virgo. You know what I'm saying? Not to make it all about that, but like I said, as above, so below. When you're anchoring these things down, you're ascending. And when you're ascending up, you see your spirituality being pulled down because you are flying by it and that friction is dragging it down. That's another video. So yeah, that's what we reacted and responded to. Well, that's what the gift of self-awareness. Your spirit is aware. Your mentality is the one that's embarrassed, not your spirit. Your spirit is utilizing these tools, and these tools, as I said before, with the Lilith energy, is interacting with an environment on an extreme level of vulnerability and prejudgment of being too self-aware within the environment. When you're aware of how the environment is clashing with these T-squares, these mutable, you understand that there are still different perspectives to the mutabilities. You know what I'm saying? I'm making that word, the mutable principalities, the mutabilities. So therein lies, we are reacting and responding to building and creating a structured based system with our emotions at work. We are planting the seed. We are making sure that the seed has everything that it needs to be restored to, you know, saying before the death. We're making sure it has everything it needs to be restored to its blossoming, that it is anchored, that the roots aren't too deep, but they aren't too high, that you aren't encompassing on others' roots or merging with others' roots, that, you know, isn't privy to the universal code or God code, which reverse God is dog, but you know what I'm saying, the dog code, you know, man's best friend, number one code, these mentalities, these forms that we are escaping out of, right? So we're building upon our escapism. We are fortifying our cages. You can make a trap. You get traps for certain sizes for raccoons, certain sizes are for opossums, certain sizes are for mouse. So the trap that you are making for your beastly natures to be entrapped into, as you escape out of one bubble, you are setting up a trap and a snare to entrap another. That's how the real escapism of the Sagittarius hunt. And people, you know, those people that hunt the foxes for sport, and they all come together annually with no technology and not in the broad forest, but then they're still, you know what I'm saying, civilized as a ritual and spell, getting out of their beastly natures while doing it in a more professional and their most advanced, and justifying giving the fox or the huntee certain privileges. That's that manipulation Sagittarius is certainly good at, because you're coming out of the relationships, deep intimate relationships, and you're seeing the layers of certain relationships, knowing that everybody has an agenda. And when you know in yourself what agenda you're bringing, which is the hunt, all's fair in love and war, and, you know, essentially the hunt, that's the energy that is being provided with, you know, the sextile next door neighbor rubbing shoulders, rubbing elbows. You're making a ritual out of it, a ritual and spell, because if it's two stagnant together next door and you're not socializing on location, but you already see each other out doing your own thing, building, Capricorn setting the foundation and being optimistic, Sagittarius, transitioning from the fall to the death, falling into the arms of death, you know what I'm saying, the death season. So you have, you know, like like I said, you're building the foundation for, you set the trap certain sizes for the beast that you know going to fit in certain cages. And when you are sextile Neptune, you're grounding, you're creating like a Isaac sacrificing his son, which is allegory for his thought. You know what I'm saying? It was virtuous, it was good, or are you willing to sacrifice it for a promise that is made for you to sustain yourself, to procreate other unique thoughts, and put that trust in your own chakra systems, because your chakra systems are closer to your spirit, and your mind is out of your chakra systems, and your brain is the accumulation of your mind and the networks and the channels and the circuits and the spontaneous sparks and electricity that are sparking, you know what I'm saying, energy to certain things that were unaware. These things are becoming aware in that frame, in that positioning. So that's where that sextile is with your imaginations, where they're going direct, pushing through wherever the house systems you have it in. Collectively, you know, Sagittarius is in the first house. So you're doing your math, Capricorn is in the second house of our values. Coming where you just came from Venus in Scorpio. So Scorpio is going to be the 12th house. So Venus was just in Libra in the second house. It was in his home sign, in his home house. And now, you know, Scorpio is debilitated okay. Scorpio is debilitated. No. Yeah. Scorpio is debilitated in the second house. Capricorn is actually in the third house. We're planting the seed and restructuring and reanalyzing our environments from what we value with our personal experiences, our personal passions and motivations. That, you know, it's like who's that Greek? The Greek Aries and Mars. So North Node. It's like North Node and Aries. You know what I'm saying? The god of war and things of that nature and combat. Right? In the, what house would I be in? 3rd house, 4th house, 5th house, 6th house. So Aries in the 6th house right now. Our North Node and our spiritual gifts, you know what I'm saying, our personal experiences, personal philosophies and theologies, where everyone's personally teaching and looking at our own personal experiences to expand upon, to escape out of, you know what I'm saying, certain personal things, because you're teaching, you're keeping a broad mind. Like I said, squaring that Lilith, the picture is bigger than what it actually appears under that microscope. And so you have Aries in the 6th house, where it's in conjunction, so it may be misunderstanding work, routine, or patterns within that construct, but it's initiating the spiritual path of, you know, Chiron, woundedness. It's a wound. So there you have Chiron dealing with, you know, wounds in the house that deals with the body, the autonomy, the nerves, you know, the nerves, your senses before the wound. So when you have Aries there, we have that trine, so that mutable energy from what we think with our personal experiences. But you're traveling, you're moving your personal experiences, you're showing your personal motivations, and we're building up on that, like I said, from the second house homes of values and relating and networking and relationships and balance. So it's in the mutable sign, the 6th house. So these trines are being in these Sagittarius is in the fire element, but Aries is in the fire home sign as well. Let me recalculate. Let me recalibrate. You know what I'm saying? Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Oh, correction. Is that correct? The Aries is in the Aries is in the 5th house. Okay, in the 5th house of romance, of our spiritual natures, setting that spark, seeing the Chiron that deals with right before you get to your nerves and the things, this part of your body. You're dealing with your reproductive organs, your Chiron, you know what I'm saying, a wound with parenting, you know what I'm saying. So you're burning certain, be careful not to burn bridges because of a wound that you can learn and heal and express to your children, pass on to your children, or project to others as far as your love life and your affections coming together for how you can relate where we just learned from Venus and where we are currently debilitated with the nighttime version of Mars. Our internal link, we are expressing these things in the firehouse and the fixed fire. So we're initiating a spark that we can see where it's starting to be upholding, where it's not so much pressure on ourselves because it's a cardinal energy. So we're learning how to stay fixed on something, especially with Aries and things of that nature. Let me see.